we've added, we've subtracted, we multiplied. So today we're going to do division of polynomials. All right, let me show you what this means. The fact that the parentheses are there is huge. That means the entire first line is being divided by 3x squared. So this is how I want you to rewrite this. Take the numerator and rewrite the numerator, except separate it like so. And it looks kind of strange with my signs, if you see, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these and divide by 3x squared. Does that make sense? So we take the whole numerator, notice where the signs end up in the middle, the minus and the plus, and now we divide them all by 3x squared. This is actually great because this is very similar to problem 1 in the quiz. So let's do this, each one. The quiz later from section 1. What's 3 divided by 3? What happens to those? They cancel. What's x cubed over x squared? What's the answer and why? X, y. Okay, because you subtract the exponents, 3 minus 2. So we have just an x there. The minus carries through. 6 divided by 3? 2 on the top. X squared divided by x squared?
Cancel.
Gone. X over x squared. What do you think?
Just 3x on.
Just a 3x on the bottom. So what do I put on the top then?
1.
A 1 and a plus out front. And there we are. Okay? Luke, would you grab those doors over there? All right, look at the next one. Let's see if we can do that one now with what we just learned. Rewrite the numerator. 8x to the 5th plus 16x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x divided by 4x squared. Who can tell me the first one? First fraction. Kyle, go ahead.
2x to the third.
Excellent. 2x to the third. He subtracted exponents and divided the 8 and the 4. Someone else, the second one. Drew.
4x.
All right. Ladies, feel free to jump in here. Third one. Josh?
-1.
Minus 1. Fourth one.
2x.
2x.
1 over 2x.
1 over 2x. Okay, because the 2 and the 4 cancel, and the x goes on the bottom. Okay? Any questions? Katie?
Why does that go to -1?
They do. What do things cancel to? 1 over 1, which is just 1. So if things cancel completely, they don't just disappear, they cancel to 1. That makes sense? All right, so go ahead and box that. And that's our answer. What's that? If there's more x's on the bottom, yes. Notice here we have x squared on the bottom, we have x on the top, so there's more x's on the bottom, so it ends up on the bottom. The same thing with the first one. There was more x's on the bottom.
We don't. We're not factoring them out.
Are we what?
Not factoring them out.
It doesn't say to factor. It says to what? What's the command?
Simplify.
Divide and simplify. Does it say to factor? No. That's a different kind of command. So, action words. All right. Now, we're going to go back to, I think this is 4th grade. My daughter did this a couple years ago. How many remember long division? Who never, every year I ask this question, and usually I get 4 or 5 people. Who never has done long division? A couple people. That's always the case. All right, let's look at long division. What we're doing is we're dividing 12 into 279. Now, we're not doing our calculators here. We're just actually doing the long division as if your calculator was not working. So, let's pretend we're teaching this to 4th grade for the first time. What's the first thing that we teach them, Abby? What did we learn back then? You don't remember? Katie? Do you remember? How do we divide 12 into 279? Okay. So does 12 go into 27?
Yes.
How many times?
2.
2 times. So where do we put the 2? Over the 7. Okay, so there's the first step. How many times does 12 go into 27? Now what do we do?
There's 3 leftovers.
Hold on. Now what do we do? What's the next step? I want to talk each step. How'd you get 24? Okay, multiply. Thank you, John. Multiply 2 times 12 and get 24. So I write the 24 under the 27. Now what? Now I subtract. I'm going to change colors very clearly and subtract. I subtract and I get 3. Now what? Bring down the 9 and start over again, right? So we ask the question again, how many times does 12 go into 39? 3 times. We put the 3 up here. Now we what? Multiply. Now we what? Subtract. There's nothing else to bring down.
Add a 0.
There's nothing else to bring down, right? Is there anything else up there? Okay. So what did we call this 3? A remainder. Is that a plus 3 or a minus 3? It's a plus 3. So we say plus 3 over 12. Would you agree that the answer is 23 and 3/12? Would we agree? Now, can 3/12 be simplified as a fraction to what? So 23 and 1/4. Will it always be able to be simplified? No. Does that make sense? Does that ring a bell, Abby? Long division? All right, flip her over. Long division. Now, we're going to do the exact same steps. Follow through. I'll show you the first one or the first 2, and then we're going to do number 6, and I'm going to kind of have you help me with that one. Listen to my questions, and you're going to see the questions are the same. First of all, I want you to forget about the plus 2. It's like a little brother, we drag it along. Whatever the big brother gets, the little brother does the same thing. How many times does x go into 2x squared? In other words, x times what is 2x squared?
2.
Do we agree that it's 2x? 2x times x is 2x squared. So there's the first question. Now, I'm going to flip back. How did I get this 24? Multiplying the 2 times the 12, right? So the next step is to multiply the 2x times the x plus 2. So here we go. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times plus 2 is plus 4x. Okay, let me back up there. How did I get, first of all, how did I get this 2x at the top, right here? I asked the question, x times what is 2x squared? All right? And then I got the 2x squared plus 4x by multiplying the 2x times these 2. Now, I flip back. In red, what was my next step? Subtraction. Now, so, carefully watch. I'm going to switch colors. You might want to have 2 colors tonight. I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to subtract. I not only subtract the first one, I also have to subtract the second one. Because you have to subtract both. On the front side, we subtracted the 2 and the 4. Didn't we have 24? So we're subtracting both the first term and the second term. So what's 2x squared minus 2x squared? 0. What's 11x minus 4x? 7x. End of step 1. Rewind the tape. Do it again. Bring down the 14. X times what is 7x? 7, right? Plus 7 or minus 7? So I put a plus 7 up here. Now, 7 times x and 7 times 2. Morning, James. What's 7 times x? 7x. What's 7 times plus 2? plus 14. What's my next step?
Subtract.
Go through and subtract. Change the sign of the first one and change the sign of the second one. We subtract. What's left? 0. So is there a remainder? So when you divide 2x squared plus 11x plus 14 by x plus 2, you get 2x plus 7. What's the likelihood you think there's going to be a remainder? Pretty high. And this, so is it rare that we got a 0? Yeah. All right, questions here. Let me pause for a second and hit questions. If you think back, though, to this, was this confusing? Okay, let's talk about the steps. How many times does it go in? So we write that number up here. We multiply, we subtract, we bring down. The most important step, I think, that you're going to need to pay attention to, Luke, is that subtraction. And make sure you not only subtract the first term, but also the second term. We subtracted both the 2 and the 4, right? So on this side, I subtracted both the 2x squared and the 4x. How did I get these two numbers right here in blue? I multiplied 2x times x plus 2. So that's where I got the 2x squared, and the 4x is 2x times 2. Does that make sense? And the 7x plus 14, that's 7 times x and 7 times 2. What I love about this lesson is it brings back old skills, but it's a brand new idea for most of us. All right, let me walk you through a second example. So we slide over. Some people say the number that goes up here is 6x squared divided by 2x. Some people like to think 2x times blank is 6x squared. But what you're thinking in your mind is this. What goes in the parentheses? Do we agree 3x? Okay, so let's put a 3x up there. Ryan, are you good at distributing? Do you feel comfortable doing that? All right, who can feel comfortable distributing for me? Luke, go ahead.
Don't you do 2x times 3x
Uh-huh.
and you get 6x squared?
But is that the only thing we're multiplying?
No. And then you do plus 1 times 3x and you get plus 3x.
Okay, so we're going to put a plus 3x there. Now I change colors, and what am I going to do next? Be careful here. Change the first sign and change the second sign. Now we add them up. What happens to the x squareds? Gone, right? What about our x's? Negative 8x. End of step 1? So now what? Bring down the negative 7. Okay, now Luke, I'm going to do the same thing up here. 2x times blank equals negative 8x.
The x's wouldn't cancel for 5 and 3.
No.
They don't.
You have negative 5x and negative 3x is negative 8x. Okay? Someone besides Jalon and Luke and Josh. How much?
Negative 4.
Thank you, Luke. Negative 4. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put a minus 4 there. Now I multiply. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 4 times positive 1. Negative 4. I change colors. What am I going to do next? Subtract. Now, this is the first time we've had a unique thing here. I already have a minus, so what does it become?
Plus.
A plus. And here I have a minus, so what does it become? A plus. Add up the x's. What do we get? Nothing. Add up the numbers. What do we get? What do I do with that minus 3?
You go negative 3 over.
I put a minus, big minus, and then I put a little 3 over 2x plus 1. That's our remainder. You remember remainders, Noah? So that's like our remainder. On the first one, what was our remainder? 0. On this one, minus 3. But to see how the minus goes out front, and then the 3 is just a plus. Are the steps hard? You might want to get a different color pen or pencil or something to do that, those minuses? Katie?
For when you got negative 8x, why would it be squared?
Because negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x.
No, when you subtract it.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Okay, good question. Let me ask you another question to answer your own question. What is 2x plus 4x? What are 2 pencils plus 4 pencils? 6 pencils, right? So 2x plus 4x is 6x. What is 11x minus 7x? 4x. When do we change exponents? Maybe when you have 2x times 4x. Now what do you get? Now you get 8x squared. You see the difference? Adding and subtracting exponents don't change. Multiplying or dividing, they do. So we come back to here. Are we multiplying and dividing, or are we adding and subtracting? Adding and subtracting. So those don't change. Kyle?
Do we have to label the remainders at all?
No, you effectively have put it with a minus 3 over 2x plus 1. That is your identifying your remainder. So you don't need to put, like we used to, R3. Remember how we used to do that a long time ago? That was kind of how we used to identify remainders in 4th grade, but we don't do that here. So our answer is right here. I'll put a circle around it. There it is. Okay. All right, moving down. Let's look at number 6. Take a sec. Don't say it. Write down what you think goes in the first spot above the 3x squared. Just don't say it. Write down what you think goes in there. Raise your hand when you think you got it. All right, Abby, what do you got?
3x.
I like it. 3x. Abby, can you multiply for me?
3x times
Is 3x squared positive? Okay, and now keep going. You're doing great.
3x times negative.
Good. It's okay.
There's 9x.
Good. Negative 9x. Nice job. All right, Brett, we're moving over to you. Next step. Okay, so we're subtracting. So that one becomes a negative. What does the negative 9x become? A positive. All right. Keep going, Brett. You're doing fine. Negative 1x. Good. End of step 1. Nice job, table. All right, back to the back. Haley and Justin. Next steps. Bring down the plus 3. All right, Justin, your turn.
Then you see how many times x goes in the negative 1x.
And how many times does it go in?
Minus
-1
1.
times. Okay. Nice job, table. Moving over. Hannah and John. What's next? Any thoughts? Katie and Tara, what's next? Okay, we multiply the negative 1 times x minus 3. So what's negative 1 times x, everybody? Negative 1x. What's negative 1 times positive 3?
3.
Positive 3. What's next? The negative 1x becomes?
Positive.
Positive. The positive 3 becomes? Next step? What's the next step?
Subtract.
Subtract or add them up, okay? Nothing there, nothing there. So do I put anything up at the tag end?
No.
So my answer is just 3x minus 1. What's going to be the hard part of these? Any thoughts? I think the spot where I see people making little errors, Abby, is when they go through and change their signs. So just pay attention to that little piece. All right? Okay, at the bottom, I have 12 problems for you for the homework. Now, the reason that's short is because I want you to